Bob did save the team from going to Toronto in 1976. The Bay Area was trying to support two teams. It still is. And when you compare the Bay Area, 6.5 million people, to the other two-team markets, New York's got 20 million. Los Angeles has 20 million people there. Chicago's over 15 million. And we're 6.5 million. So it was always a struggle. The A's were for sale from time to time. They almost moved. The Giants almost moved in 76 before Bob saved them. And then they almost moved again at the end of the 92 season when Bob sold the team to people from Tampa Bay. And so my first point is just that this has always been a market of stress for the two teams that are in it, because it's just maybe too small to support two teams historically. And what I saw happening in 92 was team up for sale because Bob was unable to get the public to support a new stadium. Not that he hadn't tried. He tried 4 different times, but he lost 4 elections. And so he says, I can't make it a Candlestick. I'm losing plenty of money. I've got to sell the team. And I kept on thinking at that time back to my experiences in New York City, seeing the Giants and Dodgers go. And the year after the Giants and Dodgers went, the Yankees, who again were in the World Series, had their attendance go down, not up. When they were the only team left in New York, there would be 3 teams the year before. Now there's only 1. You'd think the Yankee attendance would go up, but it went down. And it went down because people were that depressed and discouraged at the loss of these 2 teams. They just gave up on baseball. And I was afraid of what would happen to the San Francisco community if that was repeated. It would have been a bad blow for the business reputation of San Francisco, who would have been the city that lost its team for the first time since the Senators left Washington, D.C. But it would have been bad not just for the business reputation, it would have been bad for the community that no longer could watch National League Baseball. There were very significant obstacles in building the ballpark. We knew it had to be done. Bob Leary knew that. Anybody who knew anything about the Giants knew that playing in Candlestick as a long-term proposition wasn't going to work. We don't need to go into detail here about all the deficiencies of Candlestick. The problem was how to replace it. And we came to the conclusion that it was the public who had turned down 4 different times paying for the ballpark. So we said the only way we can get the public to agree to our ballpark is if we pay for it. And the problem with that is that nobody had done that since the Dodgers Stadium was built. It was done frequently with basketball and hockey arenas, privately financed, because they have so many uses of those facilities. But baseball is 81 games in baseball, but then what do you do with the debt and the expense the other days when you're not playing any baseball? And so banks didn't want to be the first to loan money to what they thought was a very risky enterprise. And we had a lot of trouble. We went to local banks here, couldn't get any support. And we finally found Chase Bank in New York that was willing to gamble with us to build a facility. But we still had to win a vote, and in San Francisco, no vote. You can't take any vote for granted here. It's hard to build consensus, and yet we won with 67% of the vote. So I was very proud of that achievement. We worked very hard to convince the public that we were going to build not just a new ballpark, but a beautiful, gorgeous ballpark that was going to be an old-fashioned type of facility. And we did.